Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Monday morning. What a way to start the week with a crazy, one-of-a-kind show like Panhandle Outdoors. Let's get started with our weather. It's going to be high, only 81, low of 66, and the water temperature 85 at the end of the pier. Now we're looking at the Monday moon phase brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. And that's so appropriate for an outdoor show to have that kind of saying on one of our sponsors, the Mountain Dew folks at Buffalo Rock. Now we're looking at the moon phase, like I said, it's going to be a full moon Wednesday week. Okay, that means a week from this coming Wednesday. So we're waxing right now. The moon is building up. We're getting ready to have that full moon in about 9 days. So be aware of that, because this weekend should really produce some really good freshwater fishing. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Looking at a low tide this morning at 9:53, right around 10 o'clock, and then we got high tide tonight at 12:23, right after midnight. So the tides there are going to be pretty decent. Our marine forecast now be coming west-southwest at about 6 to 9. So, we like to get the weather done, and a lot of times, we just got to be aware of how the weather changes. And we're getting ready to start our fall pattern. I think we got maybe a couple days left in the official summer. I think it goes out tomorrow, I believe. September 22nd is the fall equinox. So we're looking at the end of the summer, we got the fall coming in. And what that means weather-wise is we're going to start getting those fronts coming in really strong. So keep an eye on those, and those are always good for outdoor stuff, real good stuff and all. I wanted to give you, I think of fall, I think about all kinds of things, ducks and doves and all that. And I was thinking the other day, we haven't talked about binoculars in a while. This is an outdoor tip from Panhandle Outdoors. I just want to bring up the use of binoculars. And I was thinking about bird hunting. When I used to duck hunt, I'd put these on, my strap has come off. I'd keep them around my neck and all. I would use them, the duck coming in. I could tell by the way they're flying what they were. And then it got to where I was using them for dove, in the dove fields. A lot of times we talk about stuff like this in big game hunting and looking long, way off, scanning way off and all. And in open areas, especially the fields that we deer hunt in now, a lot of people, of course, use their scope and all, because it's right on. But I've always been just had a different affection for binoculars. And these are Bushnells. This is a good strong brand, 45 power. I really like them. I want to recommend that as an outdoor tip for today. Go ahead and, if you haven't used them before, or if you haven't used them in a long time, get back to using binoculars. They're ideal. Like I say, the duck hunting, ideal for dove shoots and for deer hunting, and also. And another thing too, you got now the big bonus. You start getting night vision. And you're talking about hog hunting, which again, that's going to be really good this fall to be hog hunting. And if you ain't got any kind of infrared lens on the binoculars, they're going to be strong. So just using binoculars, since I was a kid, I just love using. Of course, you can imagine what we had way back then, 7x35s, and I thought I could see warships and planes coming at us, because I'd watch all the war movies, and I think that's where it started from, watching all that stuff. So anyway, the tip of the day: get back to binoculars and start using them for scouting. Even if you're not using them to actually take game, use them for scouting and all. Especially like on places like Lake Seminole where those ducks are coming in. Okay, we're going to take our break, and we're going to be right back right after this break. So here we go. Okay, welcome back. Gail and I were down to Howard Creek the other day, and I always love not just staying at the old fish camp down there. I like to ride around and see what's going on. There's always something going on at Howard Creek. Bunch of good folks down there. I really enjoy them, and we always go down to the lower landing and check things out. But I want to show you, I got a sign there. I took a picture of the sign for y'all if you're headed down that way, because I've heard these stories right here. This is headed down toward the lower landing at Howard Creek. Launch at your own risk. Now, I've heard several sort of nightmarish stories about folks getting their axle broken. I mean, just falling off really bad. So they're going to work on it. The county now, Gulf County, now owns Howard's Creek boat landing right there, and they're supposed to be getting some of that FEMA money to fix it up and put a campground in there and all that. I wish they'd go ahead and get her done. Maybe the county sold it to some private people. I've heard 2 or 3 stories, so I don't know. I was hoping the county would make it public and all for everybody to keep it public and keep private people out of there. But I try to find out what's going on. And so anyway, if you're going to Howard Creek, watch at your own risk. I'm going to show you one more picture. One of the things, I'm going to sort of read this to you. It's sort of, truckers say they miss kids doing the arm pump. If y'all remember, especially from my generation, the big deal if you're on your bicycle, riding down and a big old semi truck came down the highway, and you'd go, and you'd do like that, and they'd reach up there and pull that handle down and blow that horn at you. That was just a thrill, and everybody was happy about it. Well, kids nowadays don't even know what that is. And this is a letter from a trucker. He said, I am not a parent, and maybe one day will be, but 6 other drivers and myself were talking in a truck stop about kids not doing the arm pump like we did as kids for truckers to blow their horns. It is becoming something so rare that when it does happen, we brag about it for weeks. They get on on the CB and call each other back and forth. Hey, a kid just put his hand up and down. Okay, so anyway, this guy's asking, can we please start teaching kids the arm pump again? Sometimes we have a rough day making a child smile by blowing our horn for them when they give us the arm pump can drastically change our day. So that's all I wanted to say. So thank you. We miss that. So I thought that was cool. So let's teach the kids old pump. And now, that may not be a big thrill with all these electronic games we have now. Back in my day, that was a big thrill. Hearing that big old horn were loud. And I guess it still are. Okay, let's jump to this now. I'm talking about, the other day we were talking about taxidermy and everything, and how skin mounts are sort of fading out, and more of the fiberglass mounts, especially in all the saltwater fish just about are like these fiberglass painted mounts. But I wanted to show you, I brought a couple of old mounts I got hanging around my garage. I'll hold this one up right here. The old skin mount, this has been around. The problem with skin mounts, they just sort of get, especially move around some, and they get worn out. But this is real pretty bass. My dad called a long time ago, and they put the glass eyes and everything. But anyway, that's all they did back then was skin mounts. Okay, so I got that one of old bass, and then I've showed you this one before called Mr. Self, and the old timers know Mr. Self. J himself, taxidermist in Panama City. You see this one here, and this was caught by Al Harrison at Ammonia Lake in 1982 as a 4 1/4 pounds. And Terry Linton gave this to me because he just wanted, he knew we'd take care of it. We did, that's broken off a little bit. I'd like to get a taxidermist to repair that if you know anybody that can. And this is a special one. This is a Telosia Creek brim. And this is the size my dad loved to catch. He didn't like to catch the real big ones. He didn't like to catch them little ones, but he liked this medium-sized Telosia Creek brim. And that was his favorite. And we just had one mounted one time when he got it caught. Then up here, let's see. I don't know if I'll reach this or not. Well, okay, this is a skin mount of a speckled trout. You can see that this is here locally, and it's old. You can see, and the advantage of the fiberglass mounts, you can clean them up and sort of repaint them. You can't really do that with a skin mount. You can sort of clean it up, which I need to do. I need to do that after the show. We're going to try to clean them up some. But anyway, I just want to show you this style now is trend to get more and more of the painted ones, especially because you can do so much with just the mold itself. But the old skin mounts are special to me because it brings back so many cool memories of those days and all the cool things going on with those skin mounts. It took a while, and the taxidermists in those days, they were so meticulous. Like Mr. Self, he was a legendary taxidermist, and there were several others. And every community, every area had their legendary taxidermist. He was a go-to guy, so I have a lot of respect for the old taxidermists that did it like this. And we've got some great ones right now. So right now, there's some great taxidermists we have here in Panhandle. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Coming to you from Studio B. I've learned to really appreciate Studio B. We did it in a pinch, to start off with because they didn't have nowhere else to go. But now, what a great plan B we have, and we have it open over here. And it's just, I really like it. So I'm gonna, if you don't mind, every now and then I'm gonna do, well, not every now and then, it's pretty regular. I'm gonna come over here and do a show from Studio B. Getting back to the skin mounts versus the painted mounts and all. This is, I don't know if you can see this. This tarpon is up on top here on the top shelf. I don't know if you can see it from the camera angle, but this is, of course, this is a classic case here of where a taxidermist would want to just paint it out and everything. And this is one I've got. This is similar to the one I caught down in Boca Grande. This is probably, I caught a 180 pounder. The one I caught got twice this big. Did I tell you all about that? I'm going to tell you about the one I caught. It's twice that big, maybe 3 times that big. So anyway, that's one thing. Talk about nature and all. As an outdoorsman, you have a different angle on all parts of nature: fish, game, trees, on the water. I mean, it's all under the umbrella of outdoors. And so every now and then, there's some pests. Every now and then, like in the animals, we're talking about little coyotes and things like that. And the plant world, one of my biggest pests that I've always just had a disliking for, and I bet you do too, was like the old sand spurs. Y'all remember sand spurs? Some people call them sandbirds, and my grandkids call them sandbirds. But the sand spurs have been around, of course, a long time, and I've always had this really dislike of them, and I just try to get rid of all of them. And down at my beach house, I have some, and I've got a little short video coming up showing you about down there. But one of my favorite stories though about sand spurs, and of course I grew up with them over just east of us, over in Quincy and Gaston County, over in the tobacco fields where to get them. Of course, they kept the chemicals on a lot of stuff, so they won't last long. But walking there on quail shooting and everything, because the sand spurs at the end of the summer, that's when they really get the big old stickers on them. And then when you get in the woods in September and October, and that's when they're out there, aggravating all of them, even though they get on your pants. But sometimes you're out there in a pair of sandals. And as a kid, I think I had some bad experiences as a kid. So you see where I'm headed toward. But here locally, I got tickled when I came here. Everybody's talking about, where'd you grow up, where'd you do and all, where'd you go to school? And you ask the locals, most of the locals went to school at Gulf Coast. But back in those days, they didn't call it Gulf Coast Community College, or they didn't call it Gulf Coast Junior College. You know what they called it? I went to Spurs Tech. And for you to appreciate that story, at first I just busted out laughing and telling them I was asking somebody, so I kept asking the locals, tell me about it. So when they first built, I got to envision this, I wasn't here either, but when I envisioned it, when they first built Gulf Coast, just a couple of buildings, they didn't have, back then, landscape wasn't that big a deal, they didn't want to clear it out. Well, what was out there? Sand. And what kind of plants grew the next year when they cleared everything out? What was it? All the open sand. What grew up all over the place? Sand spurs. Gail's sister, Mary Hall, went to Gulf Coast, and she gave me a detailed account of trying to get an English class on time and trying to run across the field. And when she got to class, she had like 47 sand spurs on her legs. So she didn't think there were any of them out there. So student after student told me about Sand Spur Tech. So anyway, we have a legacy of sand spurs here in the Panhandle. But Sand Spur Tech, I don't know. I don't think there are more sand spurs at Gulf Coast. And I'm trying to get rid of all of them at the beach house. Walk down there to sand. And they love it down there, and we just have this, it's not a love-hate relationship, it's hate, because I just hate to get them on me. So what we have here, I'm going to show you this little video, and I worked on it for years. I just put them up by hand and everything. I was killing them down there the other day, and I said, look, there's one more patch. I said, we got a camera with us, I want to just take a picture of what's going on here. So Jeff, let's run this video right here. Okay, now here I am, I'm in the backyard at my house down there at the Cape, and I'm talking about, it was windy, so we were voicing over this, and I'm just talking about sand spurs in general, how we just don't get along. I don't like sand spurs. I pick them every year. I just pull them up out of the yard, but I saved these. I wanted to show y'all sort of what a little group of them. Now I pulled a lot of them each year, but there's a little clump here. You can see I'm starting to pull. And just a little clump of them. And what it is, the roots go down, but they spread out so far, and the sand spurs, the actual spurs themselves are at the end. And you know how they stick you. So I've saved this group right here. I've saved it so I'll get it on video. so I can share with y'all. I like to do all kind of different things in outdoors, and sand spurs are a big deal in the outdoors if you get out in the field of them. So I'm putting all this. There's a clump of them right here. This is about the last place this season I have a clump. Now, if you want to get rid of them, you sort of got to do, treat them in the springtime as you're just starting out. But I like to just pull them manually. I don't like to do a lot of chemical stuff. So what I'm doing here is just there's one or two more left over there. All right. Now you can see. There's one left over there. Let me get it. You got to get all of them now, cause these one of the little sand spurs is a seed. So what I'm doing now, I'm walking up under the house, taking them. You see what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put them in the back of my truck. Okay, I'm gonna put them in the back of my truck. I'm actually gonna throw them away in the trash in an actual big garbage bag. Cause okay, look at them. Y'all see the seeds on each one of them? Try to get a little bit closer there. And they're just aggravating. See, look at there. I don't have a truckload, but okay. So now I'll go to my front yard. Okay, that's looking at my house. I'm gonna come back down to okay. There's a little clump I have in the front yard, and what I want to show you, one of those stems will have all that comes from one stem. Each one of those little plants is one seed from last year. Okay, y'all see that? You see where I've been digging up? That's one seed from last year, one stem, one limb. Okay, now here's stuff right here I saved from butterflies. These little plants right here, I didn't pull them up because we got some butterflies in there. All right, welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed that little short video. We were just down there the other day, and I saw that patch, and I told Gail, let's get the camera out because I want to share this with y'all because I know how much you love the outdoors and how aggravation you have with these same things I do. And like I say, it's an ongoing battle. We win most of the battles. We win the war one day when we get all of them done. But anyway, let's move on and take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Looking at 3:08 to 5:08 this morning. We're just wrapping that one up. And this evening from 3:26 to 5:26. And I ran by Blue Water while I was down there. I got to see Bobby and Daniel and Terry and all got a whole group down there. And they're all doing well. They do have some ammo. In fact, while I was there, this lady came in and bought some ammo. But they're all doing well. They've had a great summer business. All the customers have been really good about wearing masks. And I felt real comfortable down there. And we're going to get some interviews with them coming up pretty soon. So Blue Water Outriggers, good solid folks down there in Port St. Joe. One of the things too, I talk about, I bring a lot of magazines I subscribe to, Gun and Ammo and Ducks Unlimited and of course Buckmaster. And I love Buckmaster. And I like to share every now and then, pick out one or two articles. I don't read the whole magazine to you, but I pick out a couple of articles. This is actually last month right here. And it talked about the 2020 rut in Alabama. And actually, I was really fascinated with it because it actually showed the map of Alabama. Of course, I can't find it now. Right here. It showed Alabama map. And so the reason was this kind of information, and the rut's different across the state. The reason this kind of information is because you want to go ahead and plan. I know a lot of y'all have leases up there in Barber County and different parts of Alabama, Greenville, love hunting over there, and you can sort of plan your trips if you can't go every weekend like some of us and just really want to get around the rut. So that's good, and that's from Buckmaster. They're from Montgomery, and they know Alabama well. And okay, this month's issue, this was got this in the other day. Of course, they all got a big old buck on the front, but I enjoy reading. This is written. These things are written well. And one article I want to tell you about on this one was the actual nuts. It says go nuts, okay? Check this out. Now, I read this and went back over some of the points too. I just want to share a couple of things. And it was talking about acres. And, instead of being around a food plot all the time, and a couple of things they talk about on acorns, I just want to bring this out to you. Okay, white or red acorns. They recommend white acorns. The deer, they for some reason happen to love white acorns better. And another thing too, you want to. They brought up a good article, a couple paragraphs here, on scouting out your trees and trying to find the most productive trees, and then set up your ground blind. Now you start to think about this at first, I sort of didn't make a lot of sense to me. Why you want to leave a really big old comfortable stand in a huge food plot? Well, if nothing's out there, then I've thought about this for years. I've hunted them, get a ground blind with the wind right and everything, and hunt some oak trees. So you want white oak. Now, another thing they said, and this is important too, we all know this, but we got to sort of remind ourselves, outdoorsmen, that season when it comes down, those acorns, that they said, their experts said it's going to last 2 to 3 weeks. That's a small window of time to hunt that, during that time. So you want to scout for them, and you want to make sure the season is when it is. But they call it really the October lull, because you got your food plots really good in September and early October from archery and all. And then also, you have that little lull, and if you find that each one of us is in a different area as far as when they're going to be producing. And also it has a lot to do how much water that oak tree gets. And they said a white oak, about every 3 to 4 years, they'd really have a mass production, and then they'll have some slow years. So I got a tree, oak tree in my yard. I watch it every year. Some years just boom, and some years just scattered. And it's really how nature's volume of stuff is done like that. But anyway, this is good. And so I'm gonna go up my property pretty soon and start looking. I've just had some of my oak trees blown down, and that's another thing too, because they're sort of concentrating on the ones that are still standing. These young ones coming up or really starting to produce now, they're coming to those, and it's the same pattern. They'll be coming in out of that river swamp and going there to that food and going back. So I think we get sometimes tunnel vision as far as setting up on a food plot, and it's comfortable, and you got a good shot and everything, and you just sometimes forget to get back in the woods. So I'm going to keep reminding myself this year I want to get back in the woods some, especially if I can get cool areas or open lanes. And another thing, you want to be cleaning up the area. You think you're going to have a lane to shoot. I've got some creek property where I know they'll be coming up out of the creek, and you know what I'm talking about with that too. So anyway, I just wanted to share some of the Buckmaster's knowledge with y'all. I know some of y'all get this magazine and all. So anyway, I'm going to wrap things up. I really appreciate y'all watching the show. We've got a big show tomorrow. Got all kind of cool things going on with Panhandle Outdoors. We're going to get to share them with you. But meanwhile, you have a great day today. Do something good for your fellow man. Enjoy the great outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.